Welcome to the Crystal Coach Show with me, your host, Anahata, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. Are you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, maybe disconnected? Do you ever feel like you don't know how to live a life of peace and joy? I am Anahata Roach, the Crystal Coach, and during this show, we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. The Crystal Coach Show leaves you with a feeling of connection and the clarity it takes towards becoming the best version of yourself as you hear from thought leaders and many others to help you ignite the crystalline nature of who you really are. Stay tuned. The Crystal Coach Show starts now. Welcome to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata. And today I have a treat for you. I've got some stories and I've got some aha moments that I have kind of gathered in the last couple of weeks. And just excited to share this with you. And I hope that you come away with something today that you didn't have before you sat down to listen to this. So I appreciate you being here. As I mentioned in the description, that I feel like knowledge itself is tricky because if you have a little bit, it can seem like a lot, but you may have really only scratched the surface. So I used to be a beekeeper. So I'm just saying, from beekeeping to stone medicine, the less attached you become to the belief that there's only one right way to do it is how you get more freedom. Okay, so what I'm trying to do today is help you better understand that paradox about becoming more aware, how becoming more aware of your own inherent intelligence can help you, and for a myriad of things, especially choosing and using stones for self-care. But that stones are not necessarily the center point here today. The first thing I'm going to start off doing with is telling you a story of discovery. And that's really stayed with me for most of my life. Well, yeah, since I learned it. When I was a young college graduate, I just graduated from college at 22, and I had my very first grown-up professional job. I was actually working for my congressman in Washington, D.C., which was quite a big step up from this young gal who'd grown up in Western Kentucky. But it was a fabulous, wonderful experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I learned a lot there about who I was and who I could be. I also learned the story. There was a lobbyist that would pop by the congressman's office periodically and want to talk to him. And I was the receptionist, or one of two receptionists. And so I noticed that he kept coming by a lot more often than he really needed to, just to say hi or whatever. And he started asking me out to lunch. Well, this man was a little older, and I was not real comfortable with, the age difference at first. And it just really wasn't something that I thought would be an appropriate thing. But one day I did not bring my lunch, and he came by. And, you don't make much as a receptionist or a congressman, believe it or not back in that day. So I didn't make my lunch, and I was going to be hungry. And he stopped by and he said, "Hey, can I take you to lunch?" And I finally just said, "Well, okay, fine." So he took me to the fanciest restaurant on the hill. It was a French restaurant. So we sat down to this fully set table. I mean, fully set. All the chargers, the plates, all the cutlery, everything. I had never seen so many utensils, so many dishes. I'd never seen. I mean, my mother taught me how to set a table, but I knew about salad fork and dinner fork and knife and spoon. but there was like quadruple the amount. And I was just in like shock and awe and like, what am I going to do? Well, so the menu obviously was not in a language I could understand, even though I had taken 4 years of French in high school and college. I was kind of like, did I did understand it. Now I can't say that I didn't understand it, but I'd seen in the movies that, especially if the menu had no pricing, or back in the day, it was the female being taken to lunch. So I got a menu without any pricing. So I just said, why don't you order for me? And so he did. And so the food arrived. And so here I'm looking at this dish and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm waiting for him to start and he's waiting for me to start. And I'm looking down at all of this cutlery and I'm looking up at him and I'm looking down. And finally, I just confessed, I don't know where to start. And he just laughed. I guess he got a big kick out of this naive little girl from Kentucky. He said, I've always found that it's easier to start from the outside and work your way in. So that became a tenet for my life. Don't let the unknown overwhelm you. And don't get stuck into thinking that there's only one way to use a dessert spoon. So this leads me into what I wanted to talk to you today about. It's the outside, working from the outside in. And when you think that there's no other way, you kind of are in a program of dogma. Well, what is dogma? So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it's a fixed belief or a set of beliefs that people are expected to accept without any doubts, just blindly accept. Now, this is commonly found in all kinds of religions, but it can be applied in anything. So in my coaching practice, dogma is one of the first emotional programs to be cleared because it locks us into a pattern of behavior that keeps us from, well, can I say this? Keeps us from being able to tap into our own intuitive knowledge because we've been taught that we're separate from the love and light that we have within us, right? When I was a kid, I may have told you a little bit about this in earlier shows, but when I was a kid, I loved rocks. I had a shoebox full of rocks, and my younger self collected and played with them, and they were my friends. And I didn't know what I was responding to. I just was doing this, because I felt a connection and affinity with them. But when I rediscovered my connection with the mineral kingdom, and I began using crystals, I was actually doing them as I was guided. But then I discovered a modality called crystal resonance therapy that just kind of combined the left brain and the right brain, the science and the intuition. And I really, really liked that approach, devoted myself to studying about crystals and how to use them within that context. So I wrote down everything and I committed to memory about everything that I was taught without question. See, that was an acceptance of a type of dogma around how to use crystals and stones. So I began my healing practice and I was using the knowledge that I was taught and accepted as the only way in to really kind of get it right, right? So I took recently, I'm telling you this because this is my aha. This is the reason I'm talking to you about this today. I took another certification course recently about to just because I felt it was time to expand my knowledge. I've been working with the energies of crystals and stones for some time now. And I really wanted to learn more. It was time for me to brush up my skills, expand my skills. And what I found was it really did expand my knowledge in a wonderful way that made it clear to me that the way I had been taught, however useful it was, it just simply scratched the surface of what is possible. So, working with crystals is easy and it's hard. Knowledge, which is learning about something, versus wisdom, which is the experience of doing something, makes a difference. You know, if you go to a bookstore, if you look on Amazon and you type in, crystals or crystals and stones, there's so many books, so many definitions. And they really actually rarely say the same things. It's kind of like asking a beekeeper how to keep bees. You ask two of the beekeepers how to keep bees, you get 5 different answers. It's the same with crystals, the energy and the frequencies and the vibrations of stones and crystals that come from the earth carry by default the earth's essence and energy. And if we think we're separate from that, we can't really connect and work with them like, the potential is there, right? But listening to your own inner guidance is really all you need. Because if you're trying to shoe in or shoehorn, back in the day, they used, when you were fitting shoes, there was this little like metal thing that you could slip into the heel if you're trying to cram your foot in there. So if you're trying to shoehorn a certain method of accessing crystal energy into a one size fits all, it's really limiting your own potential. So I feel that working from the heart is the key to making it easy. The knowledge is great, but the wisdom deepens it. So knowledge is all around you. But when you can only stay on the outside layer, you're literally scratching the surface of what can be explored and experienced. We're going to take a break now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about starting from the outside and working our way in. Hey there, and welcome back to the Crystal Coach Show. I didn't tell you before, but if you'd like, if you're curious about my work, I can be found at https thecrystalcoach.com. So now we're going to talk about starting from the outside and working your way in. How can you apply this in your life? Where have you been blissfully unaware that your belief is limiting your potential to grow? Knowing the fundamentals, well, that's great. To become an expert, you must master the basic platform, right? It takes practice and dedication, much like playing a musical instrument or becoming fluent in a language. But you can't stop there. You'll miss the nuances, the ability to improvise, the awareness that there's more than one way to achieve your goal. Remember, with every course during a meal, you get closer and closer to a sweet reward. So if you're feeling called to explore how to work with me, I'm planning a new program on how to listen to your body with muscle testing. It's the first step in learning how to clear out emotional programs that keep you stuck in overwhelm and powerlessness. If you're interested in learning more, please drop me an email in my mycrystalcoach@gmail.com email address. That's mycrystalcoach@gmail.com. And use the subject line muscle testing class. And I'll respond to you right away and let you know what the details are. I do want to shout out to last show, I offered a chakra line clearing for free. And the winner was Marjorie Trussler. And I've already reached out to her, so she knows that. And I appreciate everybody participating. And, but yeah, Marjorie won. Yay, Marjorie. So, as always, I'm going to be talking to you now about crystals, stones, other stuff. We're shifting a little bit into we've made the point about wisdom, knowledge, and wisdom, and how that can be using the way by clearing the way forward for yourself by listening to your heart. You are opening yourself up to many, many, many more possibilities than you can have ever imagined. Just like this stone medicine class that I just took, the possibilities were so expansive. The things that I learned and the things that I've yet to experience as a result of this. It's made a huge impact in how I view what I do and how I go about it. So my stone for today is jet, Jet, jet. It's jet black. Yeah. This is an amazing piece of decomposed, fossilized pine tree. And just as a pine tree, it regenerates all year long, jet can help you let go of the things in the past that have become kind of dead inside you, like programs or emotions, beliefs. Jet transmutes and pulls out dread that's caused by fear and grief. It also helps in a rebirth, as in going through a divorce. It's a very supportive stone to help you just kind of pull out that which is no longer there for you and start over, just kind of regenerate into something new. It's not a stone that's new to me in terms of I didn't know about it, but it's new to me in terms of how I use it and what I use it for. And this is an example of how more expanded I've become with my knowledge and putting it now into practice, that the basic fundamentals are great to know, but the nuances about how to use and how to apply the knowledge is far greater. And I haven't done this for you all yet, but I thought that I would just draw a card from the this Judy Hall deck and see what kind of message comes up for us today around working from the outside in. We don't want to stay stuck on the outside, locked into thinking that that's all there is, because there's so much more as we work our way in. And the in is inside. there's where the sweet reward comes. So we'll ask for some guidance and clarity around what do we need to know around becoming more expansive, aware of the limiting beliefs that we hold. This is just a collective kind of drawing just for our show today. Usually if I'm going to do this, I'll do it beforehand. So I've got the card already picked out, but I just decided at break I was going to do this. So let's see. We got Mookaite Jasper. Mookaite Jasper. So let's see what Judy says about that. Okay. Chapter 3. Mookaite Jasper is the dream time. Balances inner and outer experiences. Encourages versatility and openness to new experiences, helping you choose the right path. Also says understanding. A powerful being, you have roots that go far back into the past. What you dreamed, you created. Reap rewards or rectify imbalances. Turn failure into a learning experience and start again. Jet. Remember to offer friendship to assist others who tread the same path. Your instinctive wisdom inspires them. Maybe that was for everybody, not just me. Today is a day that I will be signing off a little early and allowing it, because what I feel that I've shared with you today is a lot to think about. And it has been for me. When I was thinking about how to present this information with you today, I really took a lot of time to get my thoughts collected so that I could share this with you in a way that might help you open your eyes to a different way of seeing things. So may you do that. May you do that this week and every week. See a different way of looking at things, opening your heart and your beliefs to other ways of doing what you do, and not feeling that you're locked into a way in which that there's no other way but to do it this way. Because for me, that was what happened. I was locked into a way that I thought this was the only way to do it. And now I know that there's so much more. There's so much more out there than what you just think the fundamental. If you think the fundamentals are all there is, so much more. And I'm so excited to share this more with you, with my clients, and with, just with the world. So as always, I'm sending out the highest vibrations of love to each and every one of you. And I will see you next time on the Crystal Coach Show. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.
You have been listening to the Crystal Coach Show, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. With me, your host, Anahata. Tune in every first and third Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. Feel connected and reside in the vibration of love on The Crystal Coach Show. For more information and to become the best version of yourself, visit thecrystalcoach.com. That's thecrystalcoach.com. See you next time.